Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is a bit of a chit chat video. So if you want to I don't often do these, it's a bit of a health update. So if you want to know a little bit more about me and what's going on just outside of my normal hauls and everything, then keep on watching. Grab yourself a cup of tea and make yourself comfy. I hope it's not going to be too long. And let's get into the video. So what's going on with my health? I've obviously got a couple of issues. Let me just take you back. It isn't anything massively serious, but it obviously is quite impactful on life. So I'm not going to sort of downplay it at all, because it is impactful, even it can cause other things. Anyway, let me tell you what it is, otherwise you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. So basically I recently found out that I am intolerant to gluten, grain I think, and dairy. And I have been probably all my life. Yeah, and it explains a lot of things. So yeah, so I'm currently following a low FODMAP diet. Now the reason why I came to this conclusion was because I've always suffered from being a child. I've always been that kid that I was always sniffly nose, and I thought I was just allergic to our pet dog. I mean, at the time, I think back in the 80s, it wasn't like allergies wasn't really a thing, I don't think. And I was just, oh, Jane, she's the sniffly one. I always thought I had a cold or whatnot, and I always thought I was run down. But I think in fact I was allergic to dogs, which is what I thought. And I do still think that that was the case back then. But I also had real stomach issues. Now I wasn't very fond of food. I didn't really like anything. My mum struggled to make food for me, and I did have some serious like constipation issues. I know it's a bit of a TMI sort of subject, but yeah. And I remember going to the doctors and they put me on like a potato diet. Don't know why, but yeah, I had trouble, and I always had those fibre gels and things like that. I've always struggled in that department, and that has never kind of changed throughout my whole life. But I've ate normally, I've ate anything, and as I've grown older into my 20s and 30s, I obviously do like food a little bit more, as you can probably see. I've put a little bit of weight on, but yeah, I do like food. I like all food, I'm not fussy at all anymore. And I've been struggling quite a bit. Basically, what sort of triggered this off was just the end of sort of the last quarter of last year. I started getting, when we was in lockdown, I started getting pain in my side. Now I took it that it was just, I put some weight on, and I've not been wearing a bra throughout the whole lockdown, and I put a bra on for the time that I need to go to work and stuff, and I felt that it was tight. Now yeah, I had put a bit of weight on and it was digging in a little bit, but I ended up with like a pain, and it caused my breathing problems. I've got asthma as well. I have hay fever, I get a bit of eczema, and it caused me to sort of palpitate a little bit, and every time I was sitting down with this, I felt that it was my bra digging in. I felt this pain in my stomach, and it would happen when I ate, and I kind of got a bit concerned about it, because throughout my whole life I've never had this kind of stomach. And then when I'm talking stomach, I'm talking your upper stomach, not your sort of tummy area, in where your actual stomach is. So sort of left hand side, just under the breastbone here. And it was causing me some real discomfort, to the point where I couldn't sit for long when I had this pain. I had to kind of walk it off. And this went on a little while, and then I ended up, one day I got up and I ended up getting taken to hospital. Might have mentioned it in my video, which I'll touch on in a second. But I ended up in hospital just for the day, because I thought I was having a heart attack. Basically, this pain was felt like it was around my chest area. I think it was part of an anxiety attack as well, which is completely new to me. I didn't think I suffered from anxiety, but this pain had just been sort of building and caused me to just have a bit of a flap and a bit of a panic attack, and caused my asthma to play up. Everything was playing up. It was hurting. I couldn't breathe. So they took me to the hospital in the ambulance, did all these tests on me and stuff, and said that basically I was constipated and that I had some sort of digestive problem, but that was it really. They didn't really go into any more detail. So they sent me away and sort of told me to sort of self-medicate with maybe some fibre gels and stuff like that, to try and eat a rich fibre diet, which I did anyway, and left it at that. So it came to like Christmas time, and I was ill. If you remember, I'll leave a link here to my video. I ended up doing a cleanse because I was really poorly. I was waking up nightly with, couldn't sleep, with the pain in my stomach. It was very uncomfortable. I was kind of upset about it all, to be honest. I don't know how I actually film over Christmas. I think I did, but I did nothing for quite a while, and I felt that it ruined my Christmas a little bit. I spent most of it just cuddled up on the sofa in pain, which wasn't very nice. So I decided to do this cleanse. It was the aloe vera cleanse called Clean 9, and I did that for 9 days and I felt great. I lost 6 pounds, did really well, felt great. My toilet habits went back to normal, everything went back better, the pain went, I felt great, and everything was fine. So I thought, hey, I feel better, I'm good. So carried on, started going back to eating normally, which is what I call normal. So I carried on still trying to make healthy choices and whatnot. Carried on, and then a few weeks later, maybe a month or so later, maybe 6 weeks later, the pain started to come back. So I thought, you know what is this pain? So I ended up with an appointment with my doctor, and they basically said they thought I had gastritis, which is basically sort of an irritation of the wall lining of your stomach. So, and I could be having some sort of acid reflux, but I don't really get acid reflux, but obviously the acid is causing some sort of erosion to the stomach lining, which causes the pain, if you know what I mean. So they gave me tablets for that, and they also gave me some obviously some constipation stuff, just to make sure that everything's sort of flowing through properly, some like fibre gel stuff. So I decided to take that. I didn't actually take that much of it, to be fair, and I felt a little bit better. And then the other thing that I suffer from as well, so I'll list all the ailments that cause all this in a minute, but I get a lot of headaches. I think I've mentioned it before, I do buy a lot of paracetamol. At the time I was taking Anodin Extra, so if you've ever watched any of my vlogs from way back, I used to buy those Anodin Extra from Home Bargains. Now I believe that they can attribute to gastritis, they can cause the lining of your stomach to start to erode. Too much of that isn't actually good, so I changed to paracetamol, which was meant to be better, because I do get a lot of headaches. So my symptoms, sorry, I'm just going to look down for a second. My symptoms are, I get sniffly nose, so I always used to think it was allergies, so I have to take histamines. I've got asthma, I've got eczema, I have digestive issues, which includes constipation, I have bloating, and I obviously started with, and I have headaches as well, sorry, and I recently started with this stomach pain. So all of these things I've just been putting up with for, I can't even remember how long, and it just feels normal to feel like this. Do you get what I mean? To be honest, I can't remember a day that, there'll be times when I'll have like a few days where I don't have a headache, when I feel better and I feel good and I feel quite good. And I know I do a lot, don't get me wrong, I work a lot, I have a lot of hobbies, I do YouTube, I've now got my Etsy shop, I do put a lot on my plate, and I do sort of overwhelm myself a little bit, and I'm not very good at chilling out. This is kind of chilling out for me. I kind of enjoy doing this as a hobby for me, so this is kind of chilling out, but it also adds a little bit of pressure, which sometimes I don't need, if you know what I mean, because I put pressure on myself to make sure that I upload enough, because I feel like I'm letting people down if I've not sent a video out in a week, if you know what I mean. So there is the pressure of that. Obviously keeping up with Instagram and all that, it does all take time to do, and sometimes I just don't want to, but sometimes I feel like I have to, because I've started it and I can't stop now, if you know what I mean. So I decided to go and see, it was Sam's mum actually that sort of said she had problems with her allergies, and she went to see like a naturopath, and so we went to see her, me and Sam, and we went over there. It's obviously she's a doctor, so she's classed as a doctor even though she's a natural doctor, so they were all open. COVID obviously was in place where you had to wear masks. Most of the conversation was on the phone, so you spent less time in the actual place, but obviously she did the kinesiology on me. If you don't know what that is, it's new to me as well. I'll try and put a little thing on the screen there, because I'm not going to be able to explain what it is, but it's basically, I'll try and explain actually. It's basically putting like vials on you that you could well be allergic to or intolerant to, and your muscles have a reaction. I'll try and find a better way of saying what that is, but it's basically if you're intolerant to something or allergic to something, you're going to be slightly weaker with your muscles. You won't be able to hold off. I'll try and put something on the screen to explain what that means. But basically we went through that, and I am generally intolerant to a lot of things. And it looks like I have been all my life, which is why I've always been suffering. Been suffering forever. So basically I'm on a low FODMAP diet. I'll put an explanation again on the screen here of what that means because it's long-winded and I can't remember what it stands for. So low FODMAP, yeah, so basically I can only eat certain foods. A lot of the foods are off the table, so I have to go for gluten-free everything and no dairy at all, which is obviously really hard because I would normally have a latte every morning. So when I actually did the food diary for Rachel, my doctor, I realised that every meal included gluten or dairy. So no wonder I was suffering, do you know what I mean? So yeah, like for breakfast I would have porridge with, not necessarily with milk, but a lot of the time the porridge had sort of milk. You know, I used to get those pots. Well, they already have milk in them. So there's your dairy. I'd have latte, dairy. I'd have toast, gluten. I'd have pasta, gluten. So I was constantly laden in my body with these things that they just didn't like. And this is why I think I've been suffering. So I'm currently, as of 2 days ago, started my low FODMAP diet. I actually got a load of stuff from my online shop, and a lot of it was like gluten-free. I'm now having like Oatly milk. I think it says that it's gluten-free anyway, so I'm having Oatly milk or the coconut milk, which is what I used to have before when I was a vegetarian. So I still used to have that anyway, but I used to have cow's milk in my tea, and obviously I used to have a latte. So now I've got a nice little spinner that spins up some milk for me. I still use the coffee machine, but just for the coffee, and then I froth my own alternative milk in my little frothing machine. If you want to see what I eat in a day once I've got used to this program, leave me a message below and I can give you an update on how I've got on. But that's basically where I'm up to at the minute. Obviously I've had to tailor my diet as well. Sam's gonna have, I've got some gluten-free bread, but Sam's gonna try and eat some of the foods as well. A lot of it is just veg and chicken and, you know, just stuff like that. So that's fine. I can eat a lot of that, but you've got to watch out because there's like wheat and dairy and milk and everything in most foods, in most pre-packaged foods anyway. So it's currently Easter, which means Sam has actually bought me a milk-free egg, which hasn't arrived yet because we left it a little bit late. I got him a couple of Poundland ones a few weeks ago, which are all gone if you remember my videos, but they're all gone. So I've had to order him a big egg from Amazon because I went out yesterday and there was none left. So I'm having a dairy-free one, and Sam's mum's also ordered me a dairy-free one as well, so I can at least enjoy a little bit of chocolate. But in those kind of products, most of it is sugar, so you need to just watch out for that as well. I did notice that number one ingredient on these kind of products is sugar. So yeah, it's a non-dairy alternative to milk chocolate. It is really, really nice, but the first ingredient is sugar and then cocoa butter. So this is about 200 calories for this tiny little bar of chocolate. 210 actually. So yeah, so that whole bar is 210 calories, but it is very nice if you want to try some chocolate. That is lovely. It doesn't taste quite like Cadbury's or dairy milk, but it does taste like chocolate, which is quite nice if you just need that little bit of a sweet treat. I'm going to try and not have that too much because obviously sugar isn't that good for you either, and I think I need to reduce my sugar intake as well doing the low FODMAP. So I need to sort of stay away from that a little bit, to be fair. Yeah, so that's everything about my current situation. Yeah, I'm hoping to feel better. I've got a couple of supplements as well that Rachel's asked me to take, which I've started to take today. So I'm hoping to be feeling better, but I've got to do this now for at least 5 weeks. We go back in June because it is quite a way away as well. It's over in sort of Wales area. It takes an hour and a half to get there. So yeah, we're going back in June, so it's going to give me a long, good like 6-8 weeks to get into this diet. I'm going to call it diet. It's a healthy lifestyle change basically. So to get me used to it, I'm going to try and not have too much of the sort of pre-packaged sort of sweet stuff. But again, you've got to watch out for fruit as well, because I think some fruit are off the table because of the sugar content. Low FODMAP's a little bit of an odd one. There's some things you can't have which you think would have been okay, but yeah, just look it up if you're interested in low FODMAP. But basically what it does do is it takes you back to your baseline. So once you've got your body back to your baseline, it gives your stomach a chance to sort of rest and your digestive system to rest, because it's been currently being sort of irritated for forever for me. It's been irritated constantly, so it gives it a rest. It flushes it out. It's only putting stuff in there that's not going to bother it, if you know what I mean. And then what happens then is that you start an introduction stage where you add one thing at a time and see what happens with your stomach. If something triggers off, then you know that you can't have that, basically. So it's trying to work out what I can have and what I can't, and what's causing it. But these little vials, if you look at the, you can look on YouTube actually, I'll look it up, the kinesiology. It's basically like science. It's putting vials on you to see what you're allergic to or intolerant to. It's really, really fascinating. So yeah, that's everything about me at the minute. If you do want a follow-up video, please leave me a comment below, or I could give you an update or what I eat in a day or something like that. But that's everything for today's video. If you want to give me a big thumbs up, that'd be brilliant. If you want to subscribe, you can do it in the link below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I'll leave it on the screen, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.
You were tall, I looked up. From where I sat, wished I wouldn't dressed up. Your first line, won't forget. So is it true, no one's taking you yet? I remember